Dubs fans, how are we doing? How are we feeling? Golden State Warriors fans, how are we doing? Maybe not the best game against Oklahoma City the other night. However, they sort of acquitted themselves. They didn't play too poorly. Welcome to C-Train Station. For those who are new and those subscribers, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for your support. You're the reason I'm here. And like oxygen and food and all that good stuff, right? Hey, so let's not dilly-dally. Let's get at it. Some Golden State Warriors news and notes. What is it? Thursday. Whew, Thursday. The Warriors got a game in a few hours against the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's get to it so you can finish this awesome video, then get to the Warriors game. It'll be like your double feature right there. So the Warriors have signed both Seth Curry, and D'Anthony Melton. Here's some thoughts about that. Seth Curry was, in my opinion, pretty much amazing in his debut against Oklahoma City. He scored 14 points in 18 minutes. However, honestly, it wasn't the shoot. I know that Seth Curry's a good shooter. His last name's Curry, bro. Like legitimate, right? It's like the things that really stood out to me about Seth Curry's performance were the fact that you can tell that he's bought in. There's no question that Seth Curry has bought into the Golden State Warriors, and he's done it day one, right, with the regular squad. I know that he's flirted with the Warriors, I think, the Summer League in years past, and maybe he played with Santa Cruz for a little while, I'm not sure, but with this squad, he is fully bought in. And here's some things that I saw. He did the little things, right? Okay, the big things are making those buckets, right? He's a great bucket getter, a great shooter, but the buy-in that I saw Seth Curry setting really good screens, getting in there for rebounds, and guarding bigs, right? Guarding like gargantuans. He was like guarding Chet Holmgren at times. Maybe that's a little bit Steve Kerr critique on it, but that to me is total and complete buy-in. He's not slipping screens. There's not, you can tell that Seth Curry is in it to win it, and that actually means something. That means a whole lot because he's bought in, and he's bought in day one. So I love the screen setting, guarding big, spreading the floor, but gosh, I guess let's get to it. There's a little bit of an elephant. There are multiple elephants in the room, right? But it's like Seth Curry was 4 of 5 for 14 points in 18 minutes. And that included scrappy defense. Is Seth Curry ever going to be a great defender? No. He's a scrappy defender, and he really sold it. He did a really good job setting screens. I know that sounds weird, but it's like Seth was setting really, really good screens against bigger players. He was getting people open with that ability, right? So it's like, what are ways that Seth Curry can get people open without having to like beat his man and get people open off the dribble, right? Through setting amazing screens. Okay, I'm done with the Seth Curry screen thing, but they really impressed me, the way that he bought in. So when you look at it, and we're gonna go back now, right? Because I mentioned Buddy Hield. Buddy was 4 of 15 from the field, okay? Seth was 4 of 5 from the field. Now, when we take into account as well the buy-in that I'm talking about with Seth, does that sort of leave Buddy Hield as almost one of the odd men out? Well, we'll talk about that in just a little bit, but I really wanted to throw that out there right now. We'll reel it in a few minutes, trust me. The final addition of D'Anthony Melton to the Warriors squad makes the Warriors complete. That was really, I shorted out for a second when I said squad. But the addition of D'Anthony Melton to the Dubs makes this hashtag full squad, right? Who are the Warriors waiting for now other than Steph to get healthy? Nobody. What you see in this Philadelphia game is more or less, it's going to be without Steph this game, but it's still more or less what you get, right? The Warriors are no longer waiting to sign anybody. They are no longer waiting for reserves. The reserves have come. So what does that allow us to do? That allows, number one, we hope that with Melton, we'll talk about Melton for a second. We hope with D'Anthony Melton that really just point of attack defense. He's a good shooter. He can create for others. He can actually, he's got a pretty decent handle, right? But the Warriors are just dying on that point of attack defense. And if DeAnthony Melton can be even a shadow of his former self, I think that the Warriors are really in business when we're talking about defending, something that the Warriors haven't been able to successfully do at a high level consistently. I believe that defending, when you're a Golden State Warriors team and you have Steph on the team, defending is your number one priority. Because if you defend well and really successfully, that actually, defense leads to offense. How many times have we heard that, right? Good defensive plays can lead to easy offense, i.e. fast breaks off of steals, good numbers. Successful, you got to start on defense. It flows into the offense. That's why DeAnthony Melton is just so crucial to have, to get out there, to get and round into form as the Warriors, hopefully, come spring, are looking at a playoff play-in picture. If Melton, now here's some interesting, if Melton can do that, if he can be that point of attack defender, I believe that he will absolutely take many of Moses Moody's minutes. Why Moody, right? Because Moses Moody, starting out the year, was sort of the Warriors' point of attack defender. They're not defending the point of attack very well, and Moses Moody's job is absolutely on the line in terms of that role. If Melton can do that, just do what he's done for his whole life, but just be healthy from the injury. If he can play that role of point of attack defender, even at spot times and like the crucial times, right? Clutch time, then I could really see him taking a lot of Moses Moody's minutes. Maybe some of Pajensky's as well. However, they do have different roles. Pajensky is like one of the only dudes who can handle the ball and not turn it over consistently. He's like one of the only dudes, right? So, and here's where I'll contrast that. Buddy Hield can handle the ball, right? He has handles. They're just not good. He'll turn the ball over. He commits lots of turnovers when he dribbles. So that's like the difference. For example, when we're talking about the utility of creating off the dribble. So, if Melton and Curry, Seth, can improve on their predecessors, Hield and Moody, or at least match their value, okay? The likes of Moody and Hield can then be paired with Jonathan Kuminga, who I'm just not even we're not gonna get into that. Jonathan Kuminga, absolutely, ask anybody, ask him, ask the Warriors. He should, I strongly believe that there will be a mutual separation come the January 15th time frame. But speaking on that and adding to it, right, is that you can literally adding to it, the Warriors can add Hield and Moody's contracts and assets to Jonathan Kuminga's to hopefully get a really good deal out there. And what you're doing too is so I'll just put it this way. If the Warriors can take Moody and Hield, for which now Curry and Melton have almost made them expendable, and trade them for a decent player, the Warriors will be in business. Because the Warriors will be trading, hypothetically, DNP in Moody and Hield, because they may not get, who knows how many minutes they're going to get with the addition of Melton and Curry, right? You can add that to a guy who does not want to play for the Warriors in Kuminga and actually get a good asset, a good player capable of helping the Warriors compete. So, speaking of trades, because this has come up in the last few days, official trade news and official trade rumors have come along the wire to C-Train Station, all right? So, rumor has it that the Warriors are looking to deal for Pelicans forward/guard Herbert Jones. That was the rumor. That was like one of the official rumors that's come out the last few days. Now, I like this idea. However, I'm wary of the Warriors giving away any type of draft capital just for Herbert Jones. Again, it made me happier, a little bit happier when I saw that the mock trade was Moses Moody and TJD, Trace Jackson Davis, for Herbert Jones. the Warriors are, then I believe in that trade wholeheartedly. I think it works for both teams. It's when you start to add draft picks for which that's what the Pelicans want. I believe that the Pelicans more or less want draft capital. They would like Jonathan Kuminga, but they would love draft capitals. But this is okay. Because I think that the Warriors can get Herbert Jones and attach not one, but 2 first-round draft picks in a trade that involve like Kuminga, Moses Moody, and Hield. And the Pelicans would simply have to add Trey Murphy. So Trey Murphy and Herbert Jones for Moody, Hield, Kuminga, and 2 first-round draft picks. Sad thing for Pelicans, it will not be this draft. Any draft picks except for the 2026 draft, I would give up 2 for both Herbert Jones and Trey Murphy. So Jones adds the defense, and Murphy he's not a good shooter. He's a great shooter. So I want that to be known. He is one of the better shooters in the league. Trey Murphy, absolutely. I did a deep dive after I was dared by Pelicans fans 2 years ago. He is legit. He has the C-Train stamp of approval with alacrity, even though I don't essentially know what that word means, but it sounds good. Hopefully it's not derogatory. So speaking of that prospective trade, should the Warriors do that? It's like, think about this. Steph, Herbert Jones, Trey Murphy, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. That competes. That competes to me. Does it beat Oklahoma City's depth? No. But those 5 guys can ball and beat any team on any given day, including in a series. You are giving the Warriors a really good shot, and you're validating spending those 2 first-round draft picks if you get a defensive mass whiz like Herbert Jones and a straight shooter scorer who can also do a little bit of everything in Trey Murphy. If you're not excited about Herbert Jones, Google or YouTube a few years ago, a few seasons, like just Herbert Jones versus Anthony Davis. He like locks down. He locks down Anthony Davis. So it's like the dude can go, he can guard Steph and he can guard centers. I love Herbert Jones' potential as a dynamic defender on the Warriors. Like one more time, Steph, Jones, Murphy, Butler, and Green, they can spread the floor. They can defend. They can sort of do it all. That is giving you a legitimate shot at contending. And I can't say that about a lot of trades, okay? That one, you give the Dubs a real shot. And yes, Trey Murphy is that good. I believe he's that good. I think that like Trey Murphy would just kill on the Warriors because he would be allowed to really eat in those minutes that Steph couldn't play. And he's going to make those open shots without even thinking twice. So we also got to talk about another elephant in the room. How many elephants are in the room? Is this the Alabama Crimson Tide coming over here, right? What's going on? Giannis, it looks like the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo has asked out, that he may have asked out during the summer for the personally. So this is going to be controversial, and that's great. I love that. Personally, the way the Warriors are set up right now, there's a duality, so honestly. But it's like, I just talked about the Warriors being able to sacrifice a few of their players and future draft in the Herbert Jones, Trey Murphy trade and actually be ahead. I think that they can really contend with that. With that said, I would trade anybody on the squad but Stephen Curry for Giannis. And I would start with Giannis and Steph and fill everything else in hopes to compete incredibly competitively for a title for the next 5 seasons. Yes, not 3, not 4, 5 seasons until Steph is 42 years old. I absolutely believe that it is easily possible that Steph can play incredibly competitive basketball into his early 40s. No doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. So that's the premise that I'm giving though, right? You might not think Steph has that much left in the tank. I think you'd be wrong. I think you'd be incredibly wrong. But you might not think that Giannis one of the better players of all time in his prime, helps put the Warriors over, right? I would just disagree. And I would say that nobody on the current Dub squad gives me that reason to just pull out all stops and say, you cannot trade this person. They are integral to the Warriors winning a championship. There's absolutely no player outside of Steph who I can say does that. I do not believe Draymond Green does that. Not at all. I do not believe Jimmy Butler does that. Steph is that dude. But it's not just that. It's that the Warriors don't have that auxiliary. Jimmy Butler, if Jimmy was 32 years old, I would say they have Jimmy Butler. The Warriors can play Jimmy Butler relatively heavy minutes and he can take on a higher workload until the playoffs, where then Steph can just work his magic. They can't do that. They could do it with Giannis. Absolutely. So it's like, I just don't see potential star power on this roster that would make me completely sour on a Giannis trade. Barring health, the Warriors with Giannis could compete, and Steph could compete for titles the next 5 seasons. Absolutely. Another thing that I have to add is that Mike Dunleavy Jr., we look at Pat Spencer, right? We look at Quentin Post. Mike Dunleavy Jr., in my opinion, and I would just, in my learned opinion, which is incredibly valid, I would say that Mike Dunleavy Jr. is way better at acquiring players on the fringes and making them fit and close to playoff ready, at least regular season ready, i.e. Pat Spencer. He's better at that than he is picking prime draft picks and making those great draft picks. We like Will Richard, we don't love him. We like Quentin Post, we don't love him. Those are late second rounders. We don't necessarily, Alex Twee, it's to be determined. But what I'm saying with this is that I believe that the Warriors are in a unique position to get Giannis because of Steph Curry and also because they have a general manager who, in my opinion, is literally better at scouring the G League for capable players than almost any other GM in the league. That's giving Mike Dunleavy Jr. credit. And I would say, lean in to all of these ideas if I were the Warriors. Got it. Mike Dunleavy Jr. is great at getting players from the fringes and making them capable. G. Santos, let's go. Pat Spencer again. Okay, right. If he's good at that, show me. Because I'm going to give you Giannis. I'm going to give you Steph. Fill in the blanks and get those chips. And so that's part of the reason why I lean into a Giannis trade. Is it realistic? Absolutely not. I believe that the Warriors will not get Giannis, even though things do align. Things align, right? The Warriors have the salary. They have the draft picks. Things align. I just don't know if the Warriors are capable of making that big time move, because that's like a paradigm shift move, right? That's like getting KD. I don't know if this iteration, if Mike Dunleavy Jr. Can do that, right? They fell into Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler asked to be on the Warriors of 3 teams, and the Warriors were absolutely desperate and got a great deal. I don't think that's going to happen with Giannis, and it could, but unless they have that type of impetus of sort of foot in the door, I just don't see Milwaukee taking a deal from the Warriors. How about you, though? In the comments, right? Who you think, because honestly, trade season's starting up, right? We're entering just around the corner, and before we know it, it's going to be January 15th, and Jonathan Kuminga's contract will be tradable. And I'll tell you what, the Warriors should have a deal in place. They should have 7 deals in place. They cannot just wait. Like, that's what kills me about the Warriors sometimes, is I believe right now the Warriors are like, we have to wait until January 15th to even look for deals for Kuminga. No, they should have been looking for deals for Kuminga before they signed him to that contract. Absolutely 100%, 150%, 1,000,000%. They should have been doing it. What else do you have to do, Mike Dunleavy Jr.? Right? Are you trying to improve the team? Dude. So, anyways, in the comments, who do you want to see in a Golden State Warriors uniform come trade deadline? Or do you think the Warriors should stand pat? In the comments, do the Warriors make a trade or do they don't? And if they do, who is on your wish list? Of course, for your Dubs content, like, follow, subscribe. I love to hear those comments. Let's get some good interactions going. We're going to really start getting that up. And I'll see you next time at C Train Station. Enjoy the day. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy being a Golden State Warriors fan. Have a good one. See you next time.